Hello everyone and welcome back to NeoBurgh. We are playing Transport Fever 2 and this is the map, the modern map that we're playing through. We have done some really great things with getting the construction materials up and running up and down here, but I won't go into that in too much detail here. If you want, go back and watch through on the playlist, because that has all the details that you would need. So what I think we'll do in this episode is create our line to provide bricks to West Ham, Winsford, and maybe even Kesgrave. What would be really cool is if we could save this quarry down here. So as far as the road goes, it sort of comes through over here. So we could do a road route through potentially. Maybe if we connect in here. Just because literally if we save this quarry, it will be quite useful to get stuff up there. Then again, if we're doing a train line up this way for the bricks themselves, potentially doing one for the stone as well could be a good way to link in all these connections down here. It would mean that we'd have to connect in these over here, which shouldn't be too much of an issue because we are already planning a line through for that. It's literally just a case of we'll have to link it all in and make it work. What I was thinking is that we could have it come down to here for the bricks from over here. So if we did something like a ferry or a boat backwards and forwards that then links into a train station and a train line, and we can then utilize both of these for that as well. That might be best. So if we're going to go all out with that, I want to link in this side first. So what I would like to do first off is remove this stuff over here. So if we remove those roads, we can put this back in here. And then we would have a boat. So if we go for a large one terminal and we pop it just down here, literally something like this, and then we'll do the same with a boat on this side. Of course, we could use the boats to take the bricks, but if I'm honest, that would probably be a little bit redundant, because the boats would be slower than the trains, and we've got a train line here anyway. We might as well use it. I'm thinking at least. So we'll put in a boat here and then a train station on this side. That way we don't have to worry about doing any sort of train lines over the river. And to be fair, boats work really quite well at this sort of level. What I may do is just link it in down here just so that it works. I think it looks good doing that. And then what we can do is if we do maybe a straight road out and then a straight road, curved road down. And I'm going to raise it a little bit in the middle just so that it reduces all this disruption of the geography here. In fact, let's use the smooth tool. It's my favorite tool in the game because it just cleans things up so much. Let's see whether that... So this connects to the boats, to the bricks even, the construction material plant, sorry. I will get my words out eventually. And then we've got 2 harbours with a line. So this would be cargo via the water. I have put in a capital there. This is for stone and bricks. And this must be like number 4 at this stage, I think. Let's do 04. Let's just double check the wording on the other ones. Stone and bricks. Yeah, that's all good. So over here, we would want to be loading bricks and unloading. Sorry, loading stone and unloading bricks even. And then over here, we want to be loading bricks and unloading stone. So hopefully that will work as we intend it to. It's probably fine if we literally just put a boat on from over here. It doesn't necessarily have to be the biggest either. I'd prefer it actually if we did a small one because it's such a short route and it's literally just going to be doing some short leg hops across. In fact, if we connect up a road over here, could it potentially connect to these quarries? So if we put road in here, maybe just clean out these old connections we've got here. We'll clean this all up, I think. So if we do something like this, and then have this connecting over here, will it connect? No, it's a bit too far. It's to be expected, really. What about this? This one's a little bit closer. It gets up to about here, but doesn't quite make it. So actually, if we popped it like here, the harbour, it probably would connect. Which might be worthwhile doing. Because then we'll have a direct connection to one of the stone quarries. So if we just remove that one, put it down here, maybe somewhere where there isn't too many trees, and then if we put a train station in the middle, that should hopefully allow us to have a connection to the trains on the other side, although that isn't coming through quite as we would like it to. If we lower this in the middle, yeah, there we go. Now we can put in a tunnel. Let's just remove this bit out for a second. Pop that into there. Pop this into somewhere along here. And then that connects into there, which is fab. I much prefer it this way because, to be honest with you, in fact, if we go this way, it should be a lot cheaper. I didn't actually check the value there, but this is more of an access road than anything. If we were to put in a connection over here, then that works pretty well. Yeah, to be honest with you, I'd rather have this be on the side which isn't necessarily right at the end of the line. So that way we can drop off stone for this harbour and then pick up more. And then drop off more, if that makes sense. It's a shame that we can't just sort of correct that, but anyway. Right, so at this one, we would like you to pick up stone and drop off bricks. And that will all make sense in a few minutes when we put in the train line, which is going to come across. So we would want a train station over here. I'm going to do it a little bit further back just so that it doesn't potentially cause issues down here. We would want a 4. There we go. Perfect. A 4 train station, so 2 of these will be for the stone, which will go straight through. In fact, let's just pop that in over here. And then put in a crossover so it can come back. What we'll do is have just a small access road here, which then connects in somewhere here. Something like this. And what we'll also do is do some connections on this side. So then we can just connect straight in here for the bricks. And that way this is connected up. It's also connected to this, and this is connected to this. Good, 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 good. Awesome. Right. I'm just wondering whether there's a better way to do this. So if we have a line going through for the stone line, then if we wanted to do, say, a bricks line, we might have to connect it in with a junction here. I'm going to hit play just so that stuff plays through without any issue. And it also means that the boat can start to get to here. I'm just wondering, like, it should be fine where it's literally just... Oh, we got some new bridges. What speed is that? 120, 186. I don't think this stuff's going to go faster than that. So we'll keep it nice and flat through here. So this will be the bridge over this river. And we might have to, because this is coming through at such an angle, take out the road for a second, because the road's easier to relocate than the train line. So we'll have stuff going through like so. And then what we could do is like a little railroad over for coming back. No, it's not going to allow it, is it? We need it to bridge here, basically. Like so, but bridge pillars are in the way. Bridge pillars are in the way. That would work. And then going forward, it's not a connection that will be causing any issues. So we'll do a split off from further down, and we'll follow the train line a fair way. And then we'll have this one connect in down here. Hopefully this will work. Yep. That's good. And then we'll have another one which can literally just come out from this and connect in there. It does go down to 61 miles an hour, which isn't great, but then again, they're going to be coming out of here to connect in. This is going to be a little bit tricky where they're at two different levels. We could potentially push this further back, which I'm tempted to try. And we'll try quite a short crossover, like so. So the stone will be coming through on this line, the bricks will be coming through from this line. And this way they don't have to cross over the other train line coming through. Over here, we are going to have to connect in this lot. So if we try... let's take out these roads. So what I would think we would want is if we have one train line that goes through almost flat. Like this. So this will be for our bricks, which will connect in off of two lines that we cross, we take off from here. And then this one, we will go at a slightly different angle. So this will be coming back this way. In fact, that is very steep off a connection. So if we maybe delete this back, what we can try is a train line coming through this way, connect that in there, connect this in here, and then all of a sudden we've got a faster route through that can take the bricks, and it actually avoids this hill, which we've got here, which is, to be fair, quite a steep incline. So if we just double check the height of these, This one's at 29 meters. Over here it's about 46. Down here, 26. So that probably really wants to come down to this point, which is going to make it quite tricky to connect in. Okay, what we can do is change this out a little bit. So what we will need to do is split these out so that they can effectively cross the tracks. We need these to be double slips, and then what we will have is two lines that are going up. Too much slope. Too much slope? Okay, game. Well, the idea is that we're trying to avoid the slope, right, for this line. So we really want to keep it flat and go into a tunnel here. That's what we would like, is for this to go into a tunnel coming around. I don't know whether we really want it to slow down quite as much. What is the height difference here? Oh yeah, that is actually going quite up at a high incline, isn't it? So if we try to keep it relatively fast, we can then plug this one in down here, and we can plug this one in over here. So then we've got a train line that can avoid this slower part for the bricks, and we have a train line that somewhat has to follow that line. So if we put this through, I don't know what we're going to do about the are we putting, yeah, we're putting them on either side, aren't we? I don't know what we're going to do about the depot on the other end, but we will cross that bridge when we reach it. Actually, we would want them here and then here. We want to try and keep things flowing through quite fast. So if we have some relatively close stops, that should ensure that stuff can flow through, and then we'll grow that out little by little as it's going through to here, and then we'll have to actually do a similar thing coming back. So up here is where we'll have, actually it's right here. Let's take out these two. We don't want too many stops because They do cost us money, but it will ensure that stuff does flow a little bit better than if there wasn't any stops here. So we'll do stops either way. That way stuff that's coming through can go right up to here. So coming back, we'd probably want a few more stops than we've got here already. So this is the point where it merges. So we need to have more throughput where both train tracks or both train lines are going to be using this. So having more stops should ensure that there is more throughput in these areas rather than over here. Okay, cool. Right, so terminal or the depot will need to go through probably something like this. Okay, that's not going to connect there, which is a bit of a bummer. What if we did a connection for this one, which came through almost like... Oh. Too much slope. Okay. That's not going to work. So we can do an easy connection there. Because that's the wrong side of the tracks, which is going to cause some issues. That is going up as high of a rate as it can, and it can't quite clear that. I think we're just going to have to put in a different depot. Unfortunately, it's right in the way. So that's absolutely fine. We can rearrange things. What we do need is a bricks line here. So from here, we would like you to use number 3. We would like you to fill up. And you're going to use number 4 as an additional lane. So you're going to pick up bricks. And then down here, you're going to drop off bricks. And you're going to the correct one. Yep, you go to number 2 primarily, but number 1 if you have to. And we want you to just unload your bricks. That's all you've got to do. So that line should be quite quick, going backwards and forwards, because it's relatively flat and straight, which is nice. That would be our very first cargo, or cargop, rail bricks line number 1. So This is our very first train line that way. It might be best to have a depot around here where it's relatively flat, or maybe even back here. So if we put in a train line here, and we'll connect it in there just so that it can use that should it want to. And we'll put in some no one-ways because we want them to be able to come back if they need to. And then we can put some more trains on that line. So if we check the locomotives, I think it's probably best to keep it with the... Oh no, these aren't the diesel ones. These ones are the diesel ones. The diesel lines with flat side stakes. Take it down to where it goes to mediocre. So that will cost 19 million. Of course, we've actually just spent all our money putting these lines in. So the tracks are what have cost us a fair amount. So from here, you go here. Before that, you go here. After this, you go down to here, and then here, and then back here. And then back to there. So let's make sure that works. This one wants to use number 2 on the way through, and it can't use number 1. So that's sorted that out. Then it comes down to here, and it's already using the right lane to go through. Down here, it uses number 1, and then it can go to number 2 if it wants to. And then on the way back, it uses this again, and it picks up and drops off, and picks up and drops off, and goes back down to here. So that line is all set up. So we should be bringing stone through. I'm gonna add some connections here actually, because we forgot to put in some of these. So what I'll do is I'll do relatively straight road through to here. Then we'll connect it in there. We'll do a connection here as well. Something like that. There we go. So now this is connected into this station. We probably could have done like one station that connected to both of these, but I didn't really want that from what I mentioned last time. We want to be able to drop off so that we've got a relatively empty train, and then it can pick up more over here and drop off more again before it picks up more to drop off over here. That's my thinking there, is that we've got more use out of the same train, which should hopefully mean that we can make more money on that line. We've got a boat on its way up there, so there's no real rush for it to get here because we haven't got a train line to bring back the bricks at the moment. Before I forget, I want this line to also be picking up bricks here, over here, dropping them off. So that way it effectively acts as like a ferry service between these two areas, because we'll have bricks being brought back to this point that will need to come over here to then be taken to the other cities on this side of the river. So that will hopefully mean that we will make more use of the 4 compartments in this one. Doesn't actually say, but it is 4 compartments. If we check here, 4 compartments. So it might have 3 filled with stone, and then 1 filled with bricks, or 2 and 2, or something slightly different to that. So this train track is all in now. We need to put back this road, which we needed to take out just slightly here. There we go. So we've got the road coming through. But we literally just need a little bit more money, and then we should be able to send out trains from here to bring through the bricks, and then we'll be getting another construction materials plant hooked up. So at the moment we have 1, 2, 3 times 400 capacity, and we're going to add another one 4 times. So at the moment we have 1200 capacity, 4, 8, 12, and then once we get this one hooked up, we'll have 1600 capacity total throughput for bricks, which should be really awesome. It's going to be way too much, especially initially, because we've already got bricks that need to go places. So yeah, it's not a case of we don't have the supply to meet the demand. It's more a case of it's future-proofing it, and hopefully it won't bankrupt us. But then again, it will reduce how much money we're making off of these lines, especially for the time being while this is getting underway and what have you. But yeah, I'm going to leave it here for this episode. Next time we should be able to get our train line set up with a train. That'd be good. And we can also set up the line up here, which should then allow us to put in a stone line as well up that way, with 2 separate lines that go up to this construction material plant and pick up and drop off bricks along the way. So yeah, thank you for watching. I hope that you've enjoyed this episode. If you have, let me know with your thumbs. If you haven't, let me know with your thumbs. If your thumbs just don't cut it, then let me know in a comment. And if you want to see more from NeoBurgh and keep up with its progress, then consider subscribing. It is the best way to see my content. So until next time, have a good one. Thank you and goodbye.